Welcome to Trekzone's STLV bite-sized interviews. We were there with press credentials and paying our own way. Today, it's my absolute pleasure to chat with Robin Curtis.
Now in its 7th year of podcasting, this is Trekzone's Vegas or Bus Tour with your host, Matt Miller.
Well, welcome to a Trekzone conversation. We're continuing STLV coverage throughout August, and I'm now joined by the lovely, the delightful Robin Curtis.
Oh,
Robin,
Matt,
welcome.
You flatter me. Thank you so much.
Now, I was doing a little bit of research while we were walking up. You're now a real estate broker.
Yes, I am. I've been in the business of real estate now for, I think, almost 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a difference from being an actress.
Well, you want to know something interesting? There are a lot of similarities. You don't get a lot of respect.
Oh.
People don't realize quite how hard you work, and you don't know where your next paycheck is coming from. So, no, I didn't mean to besmirch either career quite like that. But it is interesting that a lot of your work in either profession is actually the seeking of the work. You know, doing a listing presentation for someone's home and you don't necessarily get the listing. Similarly, you audition as an actress and you know, I was talking to some young actresses today, remembering the stats back when I was in the business. I don't know what they are now, but something like 30 auditions to get one job.
Oh, wow.
So you had to really be skilled at kind of appreciating that you're going to get out there and you're going to try, but it's not necessarily going to be yours every time, and you have to, you know, sort of surrender to that idea.
Yeah. And accept presenting yourself all the time.
Exactly.
And just being open and being an open book.
Exactly.
Well, you came to Star Trek, taking over from Kirstie Alley as Lieutenant Saavik. What inspired you to audition for that role?
Well, you're sweet to ask. You know, at that point, I think it was more my agents recognized that perhaps by the description and the breakdowns, which is how they sort of guided their submissions for their, you know, the actors in their stable. Whatever the description was for this particular part in this next Star Trek 3 project, my manager thought, you know, I think Robin might be right for this. And I remember going and meeting the casting department at Paramount, and I offhandedly said during the meeting, you know, if I was going to be a part of the Star Trek franchise, I would really hope to be an alien of some kind. And I left them with that little nugget. And not, I swear, a day or so later, I met Leonard Nimoy one-on-one.
Oh, wow.
And it was so atypical, a type of meeting for me as an actress. Normally, you would walk into a room full of people, and you might not even understand who in the room is playing what role, you know, which is the producer, which is the director, etc. And you give an audition, and you don't necessarily connect with anyone, and they thank you very much, and you leave. And it's very impersonal. But this was so lovely and unthreatening, you know, to sit one-on-one with someone of his stature. And he was so kind, so generous. You know, my resume at that point was pretty thin, you know, and so we were scraping the barrel when it came to like old musical theater credits from summer stock when I was in college. And he was generous enough to say, and what was it like to play Aldunza in Don Quixote in a little shoebox of a theater in Maine, you know, in Algonquin, Maine, in the summer of 1976. You know, I mean, he just was lovely, and we had this very nice one-on-one talk. And then he said, "Would you be willing to read a couple of the scenes from the film?" Because at that point it was all very secretive, and he sent me out of the room and gave me the idea. Vulcans have 1,000 years of wisdom behind the eyes. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's a tall order.
Wow,
Mr. Nimoy. But I'll do my best.
Jeez,
and I walked in and I tried to be as calm and controlled and wise as I could possibly muster. And he shook my hand at the end of it, the scenes, and he put all of this on tape, by the way, which is also unusual for an audition. And he shook my hand and said, "I have no doubt you could play this part. Now it's up to the powers that be." And it was just couldn't have been more lovely.
And then you came back for the next movie.
I did. Well, but ever so briefly, they kind of,
They left you on Vulcan.
Let's not make it sound better than it was. They absolutely dumped me on Vulcan. Left the character to hang with Amanda for the rest of all time. And it was very strange because they negotiated Star Trek 3, 4, 5, and 6 at the time that I shot the movie in 1983, and honestly, it just sort of never came to be. But I'm so grateful for what was, and at the time that I left Star Trek, the rest of the cast went on to the Earth. To I thought the great success of Star Trek 4, the well-balanced storyline, and all the actors had a moment in the script what I like. I felt like they had returned to the original winning recipe of Star Trek, which is a simple message, the preservation of life, a lovely ensemble cast without too much tilting in one character's direction or another, and they brought back humor. Yeah. Lots of good humor, and I just thought the movie had a very winning recipe.
And one last appearance, or your next appearance in Star Trek. Hopefully it's not your last. Hopefully they're going to get you back.
Well.
There's new Star Trek in the pipeline. Anything's possible.
I'm an old middle-aged realtor now. I doubt they're going to be making a call, but thank you for your optimism.
Working alongside Patrick Stewart.
Out of this world.
How do we?
The guy's awesome. He's just like he really is a phenomenal talent. A couple of things I remember. You have a schedule, and I would imagine, like anybody, you sort of memorize in order of the way you're going to shoot the scenes. You wouldn't memorize Monday's work on the previous Wednesday. You would memorize Thursday's work on the previous Wednesday. In any case, they threw us a scene at the last minute that wasn't on the schedule, and Patrick was just stunning in his ability to look at it and then recite it verbatim from the script. So by this point, he just was this well-oiled machine. And then there was one other moment when we were shooting the end of the two-part episode. This is Gambits 1 and 2. It was 1993, season 7. We are in the bowels of this set. Very dark. They were using fake smoke, and everybody was very tired, and it was the end of a long week. It was Friday, and we were going into after hours, and we're shooting the end of the scene where I have my hands now on this resonator, which we've attempted to assemble during the course of the story, and supposedly now I have the power to meet confrontation with confrontation and destroy, and he gets it in that moment. But he didn't get it. He didn't get it in the first, Patrick, in the first 2 or 3 takes, and couldn't figure out why he wasn't satisfied with the delivery of his lines. And then we all took a break, and we came back, and he figured it out. He figured out that he was using aggression in his delivery originally, and he needed to take out the aggression and say very calmly to his cohorts, "Drop your weapons. Stand still, stand down," so that their aggression wouldn't activate the resonator. And it was just this brilliant little, respect for the integrity of the story and the way the fans were going to receive it. And he wouldn't settle for less than making it right. And sometimes those things happen on your feet. They're not necessarily on the page. You have to kind of figure it out as it's unfolding. And I loved that dedication in him and all the other actors as well, frankly.
What's it like to come to STLV? Is this your first time?
Oh, good gravy, no. Oh, no, I've been here many times. I think what I like about this time in particular, the other times I was on stage and then I was whisked to do the autographs, and that was happening at sort of a pell-mell pace, fast enough to have whiplash, if you know what I mean. and this time I'm in the dealer's room and I'm able to sort of luxuriate with people and really kind of marinate in that whole experience. And I must say I'm really enjoying that. I don't want it to be fast. I grew up on the conventions at a time when they were sort of more family affairs, more small fan-run types of events. So there was a lot of time to get to know people over the course of a weekend. And it's been a long time since I've been to a fan-based convention like that. And I get it. I mean, Creation does this amazing thing, and they've achieved so much. And it's, you know what I mean? This is incomparable, this experience. But what I like about this time, as I said, is just being able to come and sit and chat with people and kind of connect with them more meaningfully than if I'm just on stage and just signing autographs. And I like that better.
Fantastic, Robin. Thank you so much for a little bit of your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
And good luck for the rest of the weekend meeting all these beautiful people.
Live long and prosper, baby. Thank you, Matt.
You can get social with Trekzone. Australia's unofficial home of Star Trek is everywhere you are. Get the wrap-up on our Facebook page. Keep in the loop on Twitter and relive Trek episodes on Instagram. Just search for Trekzone.